Well, we got a summer front pushing east, and that's going to bring us another day of stormy weather. This is America's Morning headquarters.
Over here.
Where is it? Where was I looking?
It's over here. You're looking over there.
Oh, that's right. It was not behind me on the wall.
I'm Jordan. This is Jim. This is
I'm still getting used to the facilities out here. Since I retired yesterday, I'm back today.
Some cities are in for a little sunshine before our next storm builds back in for your holiday weekend. The question is, will Mother Nature ruin your 4th of July plans?
Yeah, board games and things like that. Make sure you have some things to do inside.
Now they're behind.
We've got a 30% chance to develop. Now it's behind here, so I turn around like this.
Yep.
Is this pointing to the right place?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little heavy loaded on the east side now. We'll talk about what that means and what that may mean as we head into a holiday weekend coming up.
Good to know. All right, let's go ahead and start out with some video here of damage. Well, I guess a little bit.
9 miles an hour. The Storm Prediction Center is reporting that a tree fell on a car and killed someone yesterday. And so we always talk about that. You don't need a tornado. Even just strong winds. Look at this cluster of winds that we have right here. That cluster alone can take down trees, can do damage when you're at severe limits, which is 58 miles an hour or higher. Even less than that, if you have a weak tree, you have to keep that in mind. But a lot of issues here, not only with the wind, but also the rain. We had cars that were stalled. There was water rescues that were being reported here yesterday. And we already actually have some issues with flooding in Indiana this morning, and we could see more of that as we head to the afternoon, as we have the possibility of severe weather right again in those same areas. So we already have saturated grounds here. Maryland, Pennsylvania, on into the Delaware area. Now we're going to get more rain on top of it. What's happening? Well, here is the upper level energy, and we have some jet energy that's coming in. Those winds are going to potentially really kind of spike the intensity of some of these thunderstorms. We have some low-level energy, wind energy coming in too. So I think wind energy will be the biggest issue. But like yesterday, a little spin up like that can always occur. We're in the warm sector here, so we have plenty of warm air, plenty of juicy air. That's what you're looking at right here is the moisture in the atmosphere. And so all of this combined, the wind energy, the upper-level energy, the surface feature, the oomph in the atmosphere, all of that combined is going to give us the threat for severe weather. Those flash flood warnings have expired here that we're crossing over 69, so that's good. But I do think we're going to see a lot more of those as we head through the afternoon hours, as we see these thunderstorms bubble up. There's your jet energy wind. There's also some low-level energy wind coming in. And you watch everything really bubble up. As we hit the noontime hour, we're already starting to see some of these storms that could be fierce and could cause damage as we head into the afternoon hours. And it continues as we head into the evening hours. Even once that sun sets, especially around the mid-Atlantic, it's going to be problematic. I think we have flight delays here. We have all sorts of problems for us. And even as we head into tomorrow, some of those storms are going to linger along the coast. There's your threat for flooding, again, right in those same areas with saturated grounds. Tomorrow, we do clear out, but it is short-lived because as we head into our Thursday, our next system is going to come in and give us some storms, Jim. Behind us, it's not cold, but a smidge drier. You'll feel the air difference in the air mass.
You'll absolutely feel that. By the way, that just sits over Florida.
Right.
And that's a different story.
And the problem is does it rain exactly when you're hosting outside?
Well, there's that.
Type of a thing. We could run into that issue.
Yep.
And the boundary that is causing all the storms, you see it up and down the East Coast for us here. And that is going to cause obviously some problems if you're trying to travel today, if you're trying to do any barbecuing, maybe prepping food today that you're going to be eating onto our Friday. It is Tuesday after all. You don't have that many days. Sometimes you have to even just get all the ingredients organized. Into the Northeast we go. Of course, Boston always has a great 4th of July. Philly has a great 4th of July. New York, they're going to launch from the East River near the Seaport District, which is adorable, a really cute area if you've never been down that way because it's all the way downtown. Showers and thunderstorms are across the board. And it's not just D.C., New York, Boston, Philly. So many people are having different types of celebrations, obviously, for the 4th of July. Look at Chicago at a hot one. Though Navy Pier does fireworks on the reg during the summertime. Look at Bismarck at 93. Denver also is going to be a hot one. It's going to be hotter in Denver and Bismarck than it's going to be in New Orleans, where they're also having festivities, of course. Central Florida will see the rain and the storms as we head into our Wednesday. Top destination for holiday travel, according to AAA, and they're celebrating 150 years as a town, founded in 1875. And I wonder if it's a destination because people fly into Orlando, then they drive over to the coast and they get on a cruise. Cruising has been a huge deal. Thursday, our next system drops into the eastern lakes. We do have weather in the west here. There's a trough this week that's going to be coming in the west coast. Friday, unfortunately, it's going to bring some storms into the plains. Otherwise, much of the country, Jordan, looks like it's going to have a great July 4th. It's just really right in the center of the country where we could have some of those clouds and storms.
That's right. All right, ahead
this
on
front and its influence.
No, the front's all the way going south, but we don't have those winds. We don't have that jet energy down here. So that's why things aren't going to be as intense. We don't have the wind energy in the low to mid to upper levels of the atmosphere like we do to the north. So that's why we'll see storms, but they don't have as high of a potential to be as severe as the ones in the Northeast. Now, we're not saying we're not going to get any storms. We're not saying that they're not going to be severe, but there's just a higher chance of some of those stronger storms off into the north and the east. There's your front that is laying across the southeast. Heaviest rain is offshore. Not a great day to do that trip from Florida over to the Bahamas on a boat with those storms rocking and rolling for you. Everything is kind of dripping southbound here along Pensacola. And we will see more storms fill the atmosphere and the southeast as we go through the day, which does give us that threat for flooding here into the southeast. As you get the daytime heating, everything bubbling up, we have that surface feature too. Showers and storms are going to pop off for us this afternoon, last until this evening, and then we'll quiet down as we head into the overnight. But tomorrow they're going to fire right back up again as that whole boundary has slipped closer to that I-95 corridor for us. So we'll see more showers and storms, places like Wilmington, Ocracoke, the Outer Banks, all those spots. Overall, you're going to see light rain unless you're under one of those heavier downpours. Then it's going to dump. You're going to have buckets of rain. And of course, we're watching this upper level energy. There's your boundary coming through. Sometimes a boundary can disrupt a low pressure from developing. Sometimes low pressure can develop along that boundary. Right now, we have a 30% chance over the next 30 days of development. The chances are now looking like it's more in the Atlantic versus in the Gulf. But regardless if this becomes Chantal, both models are giving us heavy rain and the chance for flooding as we look on the days surrounding the 4th of July for us here from the west coast of Florida. And the other thing is we need the rain here. It is quite dry. We'll show you the drought monitor a little bit later.
We'll see.
Of course, we have the 4th of July. This is all leading up to that entity if it ever really develops. But we do have this boundary, this front in the eastern half of the country, showers, thunderstorms, and by the way, still warm temperatures with this system. It's not going to cool off behind it in the least. It's going to dry out a little bit, but it's not going to cool off. Showers and thunderstorms, I-95 all the way back to the Great Lakes. Temperatures sitting in the upper 80s, even lower 90s for some of us. You'll want that cool, refreshing water to come from the sky. We do have a trough that's coming into the west here. That keeps our temperatures a little bit at bay, though Denver, we're hot at 93, hotter there than in New Orleans. Our boundary slips into the southeast if you're doing any driving or flying in the south. At least Atlanta will be clear, so that's kind of good. But Raleigh to Jacksonville to Miami to Tampa, you are going to see thunderstorms. So the Florida flights could be slowed down. Thursday, it's 4th of July Eve on Thursday. Showers into Florida, also moving into the northeast. And you see energy coming into the west that will make its way into the plains for our 4th of July holiday. Otherwise, without the exception of the plains, maybe Florida, millions of you actually have a really nice 4th of July, hot, with the mid-90s into the Great Lakes, but you will have it. Cloud cover here down to the plains. Otherwise, we have got dry, clear skies on our Saturday if you're doing the drive home after having some fun on Friday, beating the rush back on Sunday when everyone is going to be hitting the roads here because you got to get back to work on Monday. Unless you're lucky enough where you can work from home, then you don't have to deal with that. But we will again see the center of the country. That's where all the action will be located. Jordan, look at Boston at 91 degrees.
It's going to be warm. Yes, indeed. It's going to be a weekend.